We are back. The podcast is back. Been on a hiatus. Lots of things been happening. I'll catch you up. Bought a house. Had to move. Had to get everything over to the house. Pack it up, get it over here, unpack it, get everything organized, upgrade. You guys know how the house buying thing is. But bought a house. And so that's why the podcast has been a little bit hiatus, and I've missed it. I've missed the little bit of fans that I have. If you're watching it on, we got a new setup, just testing it out. Thanks to my lovely wife helping set this up because I'm not very good at setting things up. So God bless her for setting this up. So let me know what you think about the setup. It's dark outside now. It's nighttime. It's hard to see everything. So let me know what you think about what it looks like. Hopefully this will be up. We're trying to blow this thing up, get this set up a little bit better. Maybe get on Twitch and stream college football, like all bunch of stuff. So a bunch of stuff. New desk, new setup. Let me know what you think. What do you think about it? If you're listening to audio form, we got a new desk, we got banners, we got Marvel cups, we've got helmets, we've got Negan's bat because I'm a nerd. You got signs behind me, got a Walking Dead sign, you got just a bunch of stuff. So just let me know what you think. We've been a little bit hiatus. So any loyal fans out there they've been missing Coach Steve. That's why I bought a house. So a lot of stuff there to upgrade and getting it done. So hope everybody's doing well. It's been a while since I've hopped on here and done a podcast. July 28th was the exact time. So it's been a little bit. Not a lot has happened, but a little bit has happened. And so I wanted to jumpstart the podcast back up, show off the new studio, as if you want to call it that. I don't know why this is doing this. We're going to do our best. Like I said, work in progress here. So leave comments in the comment section down below, like and subscribe. Blow this thing up. I am 6 subscribers away from 1,000. 6. So if you're watching on Twitter, hop over to YouTube and subscribe. 6 away from 1,000. Like, let's go. Let's just keep going. So today we're just going to talk about Chicago Bears. They had their Hall of Fame game, and that got rained out, delayed. They are now on Hard Knocks. That episode came out. Episode 2 will be coming out on Tuesday. And their other preseason game versus the Bills. Caleb Willams, the new quarterback, he did not play in the first game. And a lot of people have different thoughts about that. Like, should he have played in that game because he's a rookie? He hasn't really proven anything. And then we're going to talk about he actually played against the Bills for a little bit, then was taken out. A lot of people have different thoughts on that. So we're going to discuss that. Because of the move, because of everything being crazy, I didn't get to watch the Hall of Fame game live, watched the replay later on. And not a lot of takes there because you're not seeing the real starters for the Bears. They had a couple good pieces from where they drafted or free agent signed. They looked pretty good. And so to go in order here, I watched the Hard Knocks episode before, obviously, this preseason game versus the Bills. I watched it late because, when you move and you got to get your internet switched over, there was no internet. I had no internet for a few days. And when you don't have internet, that's like living in the Stone Ages. You didn't know what to do with yourself. And since we're not in the cable world, there was no TV to watch. You had to watch on your phone or get a hotspot. No bueno. No bueno. And it's amazing because you don't realize how much internet you use until you don't have it anymore. So I didn't have internet from last Saturday until Wednesday. Yes, for almost 5 days. No internet. No internet. So I got to watch the Hard Knocks. So let's talk about the Hard Knocks first before we get to how Caleb Williams looked and if the Chicago Bears finally have a quarterback. And that's been the discussion. Do they have a quarterback finally? So I was very curious about the Hard Knocks episode. One, I was glad it was finally come to Chicago. They've had a lot of different places, and Chicago kind of seems to be a spot that they haven't been to. And so I was just very curious how it was going to look. And then question marks surrounding Caleb Williams. And I'll tell you mine. Mine was obviously, can he play? What tangibles does he bring to the table? The other thing was his leadership and how he acts, because I said this was last year, his first year at USC. I don't think I would have had a lot of questions because it seemed like he was the leader, quarterback. It seemed like he was all that. Then coming into this year, he started to really show himself. People talk about him painting his fingernails. Then how he acted on the field, like the leadership part came into question. Runs and cries on his mom's shoulders after they lost, I think, their second game, so they couldn't go to the championship. They wouldn't make it to the playoffs. That type of stuff is very concerning when you get to the NFL. And from watching it seemed like he got a lot better in press conferences, so that was a plus. And so then I was very curious what Hard Knocks was going to show. How is he interacting with the other players? What is he going to look like from a leadership standpoint? And I was really blown away of how he was acting with teammates, how they acted to him. You had a couple guys saying, hey, you need to step up and say things. The amount of work, the amount of pressure he's put on himself. I didn't mind what I've seen from the first episode. Now, obviously, we're going to see a lot more, but from that beginning, for this first episode, I was very happy with what I saw, even with the team, because you have Caleb Williams, you have Adunze, you have Keenan Allen, you have Swift, and new guys on defense, getting the O-line together. They seem to be interacting pretty well. They did the karaoke thing with the rookies, which if you're going to haze somebody or do a rookie thing, it was pretty funny. And Caleb Williams, first round draft pick, still had to do it. It was like, you're still a rookie, come in here. They're telling him to be a leader and step up. And then I can't remember if it was on the episode or if it was after. He told the older veteran players, hey, clean up the locker room. And that got a lot of buzz because a lot of people were saying, you're a rookie. How dare you tell other people to clean up the locker room? Stick to your place. I heard somebody, and again, it's because I've had no internet and I've been moving and doing and building things. Somebody said on TV, if I'm a veteran, I'm telling him, hey, you should be picking up my stuff because you're a rookie. And whatever TV analyst said that's not a leadership role of hey, you clean it up for me. No, that's not right. So I don't have a problem with Caleb Williams telling somebody to clean up the locker room. And I thought that, I said, well, as long as he's cleaning up his stuff in the locker room, as long as he's doing this, you should be able, don't tell somebody to do something or ask them to do not doing yourself or would not do yourself. And so I had no problem with that. And then I was listening to Coach Jason Brown, the coach that was at Independence on Last Chance U. He has a podcast, the Coach JB Show. They had Brian Urlacher on, and he said that, he goes, first of all, I have no problem with him saying that because that just shows that he's not scared to say something to an older player. And if I'm a veteran, why am I leaving the locker room a mess anyway? That should be cleaned up already. There should be no issues here. So why is this an issue? And so I had no problem with that. I don't know why that it started to stir a little bit. You want a quarterback to step up and say those type of things, especially as a rookie. What the balls on him to go into the locker room and say, clean this up. And so now we get to the game. They play the Buffalo Bills. Now it's preseason. And so this is a very difficult thing because I've never put so much stock in preseason because it's preseason. The coaches, they don't show their whole playbook, defense or offensively. You don't really see the full starting group. You kind of get glimpses of it. They'll mix pieces in and see. As you get to the last preseason, you'll kind of see that. Obviously, there's way less preseason games now, but it was just curious of how he was going to look if he comes out. And here's the thing: that's why we try not to put too much stock into this, because if Caleb Williams comes out and just stinks it up, we'd be sitting here saying, well, he's a rookie. He's a rookie. But then there's also the other camp that says, see, told you he's not that good. The NFL, he's just not ready. And this is going to be Justin Fields. Like, oh, you should have kept Justin Fields. That would have been the next thing they said. And so try not to take too much with it. I don't put – there was a nice thing on the Hard Knocks. Coach Nick Saban coached Eberflus when he was at Toledo. And he came on there and said that the amount of pressure that you can put on a quarterback, especially when they're a rookie and young, can destroy them and destroy their confidence. But you also do want to put pressure on them, but in the right way, and be positive with them and try to get them to grow. Because obviously they're going to put pressure on themselves. As a coach, you are going to put pressure on them, especially because you're in the NFL. We don't want to put all this pressure, Chicago Bears fans. And that's why the title of this episode is, do the Bears have a quarterback? And I'll get to that in a second. But we expect Super Bowl, like right now, we're looking at the roster. We're saying Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. We have to be okay of them not getting to the Super Bowl. We have to be okay with it. It's a progress, and it sucks because some of the players we have, you don't want to see them get older. Like Keenan Allen, you don't want to see him get older. We want to take advantage now. You don't want to possibly Cole Kmet leaving if he continues to do well if we don't pay him. They just paid DJ Moore. They're building the defense. John J. Swift left the Eagles. Like, you want to take advantage of these guys at their young age. So we got to stop putting all this pressure. I want to compete for the conference, and I want to compete in the playoffs and see that, because as a rookie quarterback, it is going to be tough. And we're also looking at new offense coordinator, and we're looking at a new offense. All we wanted to see from this first game was he played in a shotgun offense. How is he going to take snaps under center? How is he going to get the passes off? Does he look accurate? And then for me, comparing it to Justin Fields is, what's his pocket presence like, right? The reason why I titled this, do the Bears have a quarterback? We have not really had a quarterback since Jay Cutler. Mitch Trubisky kind of, I guess. We're not going to go down that road. People can say Justin Fields all they want. Justin Fields' his pocket presence was not good. He would hold on to the ball too long. And, when he was on, he was on. When he was not, he was not. Watching Caleb Williams, one of the first things was looking at his pocket presence. And there was a play where it was a holding call. He got outside the pocket and he just threw it away. That was like a 6-second play. And he stood in the pocket. Those defensive ends come flying up. The tackles took care of it. And he had a pocket. It was just a better defensive coverage for the Bills over the Chicago Bears. And I'm looking at him like, he's standing in the pocket. He did not panic. He was looking down the field. He moved away from all the stuff. They all flipped the field. He moved, and he was still looking downfield. Nothing was there through it. And we had a holding call. I thought that was impressive. There was one he was getting hit. He flung it out like this, like from the side. Justin Fields might have taken a sack. Justin Fields might have bounced around and tried to take a sack or try to get out of it and end up getting hit. Caleb Williams, good pocket presence, got the ball off. There was that nice play action. And one of the things I talked about last year, sometimes I cannot remember the game, but the running naked boots. They'd run wide zone and boot it back, and sometimes he would get hit. But if you would watch the film, Justin Fields, when you run wide zone boots or you're faking it and rolling back, you want depth away from that defensive end because you do not block the defensive end out. So if you're faking wide zone right and he is under center, pistol, whatever he is, and he's faking it with his left hand and then turning and going back, the linemen and stuff are not blocking the defensive end, or they're not blocking the outside linebacker. Sometimes you could put a tight end there and they could chip and go, but for the most part, you're not blocking them. So the quarterback has to get depth. There were times Justin Fields didn't get depth. He would just churn flat and he'd get hit. And everybody's blaming the play call and everything else, and I get it. But sometimes you have to watch the film and say, is it the quarterback? Same thing I said with Justin Fields. He was moving around too much in the pocket. He had happy feet. He didn't let things develop. Or it would, and he held on to the ball too long. Caleb Williams did a play action fake. He got depth. He threw it downward, running downhill, threw it on time. So he looked okay for his first outing as an NFL quarterback. He was 4 for 7, which is 57%, 95 yards, averaged 13 yards per attempt. His longest pass was 42 yards, so his rating was 101.8. So in that first quarter, it looked okay. Now, again, we cannot put all of our stock into this. Taking snaps under center looked good. His play action looked good. His pocket presence looked good. There was one where they were in man coverage and the offensive lineman did exactly what they were supposed to do, and everything just, opened up like the Red Sea. He took off down the middle, didn't take a hit, and he slid. And it was funny because you watch the Hard Knocks, they're sliding on the slip and slide of how to slide. And you watch him when he slid, he put his feet up just like that. So it was real funny to see the Hard Knocks slip and slide transfer over to the preseason game. So I like what I saw. I liked what I saw from the wide receivers. I really liked what I saw from the offensive linemen that have been. They really wanted to upgrade that and get that better. And Caleb Williams just looked comfortable. And a lot of that could be from people like the players being very confident with him, getting along with him. He's showing that he wants to win and be good now. And so far, like I said with Zach Kyleman that comes on here and does Bear Down, I don't, yes, we can talk about painting nails and certain comments. His interviews have been a lot better. It seems more professional. You could paint your nails and do all that stuff. Who cares? As long as you're not looking at it and it affects your play, right? I don't care what you dress like. I don't care what the fingernail paintings look like. As long as you can go out there and be a leader and be a quarterback for the Chicago Bears and help compete in the NFC North. That is the first step, is competing for the NFC North wildcard playoff. We should not be sitting here saying Super Bowl. I would love to sit here and say Super Bowl because of the pieces they have. He looked very comfortable and looked like a quarterback. And he has a good arm. He seems to be accurate. And they're just going to keep expanding the playbook. He seems very invested. And the Hard Knocks thing could be for show. I get it. But I doubt it because the cameras are constantly going. There's no way you could just be on like that all the time. Because if you're focused on being on all the time, it's going to affect you in practice. And so I don't think that's necessarily what he's doing. So do the Bears finally have a quarterback? As of right now, you could say yes. As of right now, you could say they finally have a quarterback, like a true quarterback since Jay Cutler, and people have their opinions on Jay Cutler. I have missed Jay Cutler. Going through after the doink and not getting to the Super Bowl, and then we have Mitch and that whole thing, then having Justin Fields and this whole thing. I have sat here and said I miss Jay Cutler, guy that could throw the ball, and they could say how he acted. You listen to the Chicago Bears that played for him. They said, yeah, he was a leader. I mean, he just did it differently. He did it differently than Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and company. So hopefully as of right now, you could say yes. We're going to see what the next preseason game looks like, and then we're going to see what happens as we get into the season. But as long as they can run the football, as long as he could do short passes, play action, get him outside the pocket like they should have done with Justin Fields, and if he can continue to be comfortable in that pocket, because people keep blaming the offensive line. Last year, the year before, they would start off ranked kind of low, and then as the season progressed, they actually got better. They were ranked higher. There was one point they were like number 10, something like that, 12 or 10. So blaming this offensive line thing, never works out. So yes, as of right now, I think the Bears have a quarterback. As of right now, we'll see what happens in the next game, and the comments will change. We'll say, "Oh, really? That's what they paid for and picked." But there's times like I was never super excited to come into the season, even with Justin Fields at quarterback. And this could be because maybe I'm not being positive about it. I think it was because I had different thoughts and opinions on Justin Fields, and I end up being right. That's the thing. You guys should go back and watch. I end up being right on what Justin Fields is going to bring to the table. So I'm hoping I'm right here on what Caleb Williams could bring to the table because he was in an air raid offense ish. Lincoln Riley could sit there and say that he's pure air raid. They want to run the football, right? Big GT and inside zone. But they ran a lot of air raid concepts, and there was times he had to pass the ball a ton. Now, in that offense, you're looking for green grass. You kind of, if Lincoln Riley taught it like Mike Leach, he doesn't care about one high, too high. Lincoln Riley could have adapted that, and so maybe that's really helped him with progression and reads. But if he can just continue to do that in the pass game, with the running backs they have running the football, if the offensive line can stay healthy. I mean, they beat the Bills 33-6. Now, again, it's preseason. You can't put all the stock into it, but maybe this can help them gel a little bit, especially on defense. Like they're trying to build pieces up on defense. Going back to being excited, I am excited to watch the season. And I'm going to do my best, the office thing. Like I'm ready to be hurt again. Like as of right now, I'm not quite to that level. I'm ready to be hurt again. I'm all dove in. Right now I think I have 1 foot in the water, right? You're testing the water, 1 foot's in, and you're testing the temperature of the water. I am excited to watch the Bears. As long as Caleb Williams could be a leader when things go wrong, and they are going to go wrong at some point, that he doesn't turn into I'm going to go cry on my mom's shoulder, and people could say that's mean or whatever. I'm just being honest. Like you don't want that. You don't want him to jump into the stands and cry. You don't want him to cry after a loss. You're a professional athlete. You're getting paid a lot of money to play a game. And so for that, you can't be doing that, right? You have to learn from the mistakes, come with the team, be a leader, and, get that fixed, right? So as long as that stuff doesn't happen, I'm super excited. I think the Bears have a quarterback. We're going to see what it brings. But I am, like I said, 1 foot's in the water. I'm at the train booth or the ticket office, and I'm ordering a ticket for the train. I don't quite have the ticket in my hand. They're processing the payment. Like that's kind of where I'm sitting right now. So hopefully it can just continue to get better, and hopefully they'll just keep going up. That's it for this episode. So again, thanks anybody who watched or listens. Podcast is back. Hopefully back for more episodes and all that good stuff. We got to again, I'm repeating this. If you made it this long, we got to blow this. I want to blow this thing up. So I'm 6 subscribers away from 1,000. If you can get me to 1,000, that would be awesome. And we're going to blow this bad boy up. New setup, new everything. And we're just going to keep blowing it up. So I need your help. I need you to subscribe on the YouTube channel. Follow Ray on Apple and iTunes or Spotify, wherever you listen to it. Just please do that. Leave comments, have conversations, follow on X, Coach_Steve72, Instagram, Coach Steve72. Do all that stuff for me. Let's blow this thing up. Football season's coming back for high school. We start tomorrow, and I'm super excited. And then college football will be back. Can't wait to talk about Illinois football as well. Chicago Bears will be back. Like all this, let's just keep blowing all this up. So thank you guys for watching and or listening. Do all that stuff for me. It'd be greatly appreciated. Hope you guys like the new setup. And I will see you guys next time.